auto installer, I actually got to go to Summit in Philadelphia and saw a presentation on it right before we were going to start on Banner 8. And I actually walked through Banner 8 4 times in test before we had production. By the time we went to production, I was just basically hitting return. I had all my scripts built for all the patches, all the mods. I did all of it. And so it went real smooth once we went to production. Auto installer is something that SunGuard provides with all the upgrades. It's got all the, or a majority of the steps already built into a parameter file. And I'll show you all that. First thing, the installer, you can make sure you have Pro version 5.004 or 404 or later. You just do a Perl -D to see what version. We had 5.6, so probably everybody is well above 5.0. These are the 4 main files that you have: the actual program that starts the installer, the SCT upgrade, Perl script, and there's parameter or a subroutine, library of subroutines. And then they also provide this error file that has the errors that are okay. And then your main file is your parameter file, and that's provided with each upgrade. And you can build and modify that. I'll show all that. Now, what you got to do is set up your environment. First thing you do is you do your env. And then from within your parameter file, very few, first few lines are going to be your values for your parameter file. It's going to be your product release, your import command, and your export command. And then you log in SQL. It's going to provide all these here. It's going to provide where you want to write the files, your upgrade owner, your SQL plus command, apply mod when you do mod or no mod, and then grants and security. And the way they get all these written, it always prompts you for sys or system. And all the others are provided, your general, BANIS1, you put all that in the SQL. But for security reasons, they prompt you whenever they need one of these passwords here. This is a parameter file. This is basically every step that you need to do to run through the upgrade. You can see things like step 4E, it says read the upgrade. So you've got to decide, that's some decision you got to make. Now this is actually, when I started doing this presentation, I'm caught up on all my upgrades. So what I did is I downloaded Financial Aid 8.9 and just ran it through in a test instance that I'm going to wipe out anyway. So these are the steps for 8.9, just kind of so I could run through one, get all the screenshots I needed. And the format of this, you see the first at the top there, the first 4 lines are parameters. To you, the product with financial aid, release 8.9, and your import and export commands. And then these are steps, and this is actual step, step 4A. This is actually from the upgrade guide, and that's the command. When you actually run it, this is going to be the first screen you see, and this is going to pull those parameters from either the parameter file or your login.script. And you see the same things, product release, shows you what instance you're in, 2 tasks undefined. Then the next is going to be your menu. If you got more than 16 or more than 15 commands, it's going to have 1 through 15 or 16 through 24. Usually what I do when I first install and test, I actually step through each one. I'll select one here, and then you'll get a list of all the commands, and I'll actually step through each one individually. arrow key. Okay. Yeah. Once I go into production, I usually just hit A and just let it go. I've worked out all the problems, especially with Banner 8. I mean, I've ran through it so many times. It's pretty clean, pretty easy. But like I said, in test, I'll run through each one of them individually, make sure they all look okay. And like I said, this is straight from the parameter file that SunGuard provided. You can see I've got a problem with number 5, number 10, number 11, number 13. I've got to do something with those. And these are steps 16 through 24. Same thing. Got some problems you actually got to look at. You can't just stick it out there and run it. Still got to look at that very good. Okay, now modifying the parameter file, they've got a Perl script that does that. It's SCT, BLDP, Perl, or you can use VI. I just use VI. I'm comfortable enough with VI. You know, I know my 6 commands to get me around and do everything I need to do. But I'll show you how to use their Perl script. Now this is actually at the top of the parameter file. It tells you the format of it. You got either a step or a parameter. If it's a parameter, you get a variable name and a value. If it's a step, you get the step number, the command. And there's only those 4 commands right there. You've got a SQL command, a script, an import or export. And then you've got the log file, and then custom is everything I've ever done, I've done just a run. So it runs automatic in automatic mode. And each one of these is separated by 2 columns. And if you actually run their script to modify this, it comes up and it steps through each line. And that's one of the reasons I like it, because it may be just one I have to change. But you can step through each one. It right there is telling me that there's one already existing in this directory. Press enter if I want to create a new one. I want to modify this one. There's the very first line. Do I want to modify it? Not continue. Same thing. I want to get by this one. So this is a little time consuming. I finally get down to the step I want to do. And I want to change this one, so I modify it. And to modify, I got to know what it is. I go to my upgrade guide. Now this one is a script that needs to be run if you want to disable your triggers. You've got ODS, which we do. So I want to run that script, so I need to put that in my parameter file. So I go back and I hit M. I put the step number stayed the same. Then I put the command, which I actually did wrong. And I put SQL plus, and it should have been SQL command, because that command is defined. I didn't realize that until I actually tried to run this. But and that, like I said, I usually do it from VI, so I see what the other commands are looking like. So. And when after I ran that one through, it shows it right there. I actually changed it before I took this screenshot. And it shows where I changed that one to actually run that script.
What did it look like before? Was it pulling it out?
4E.
At the beginning. Okay, see it. Okay,
Yes, it's error command, but just want to error out. Awesome. Now, ask questions if you need it. I'm running through this probably way too quick. It's actually a really simple tool to use. Let's get okay. So I'm going to run through these steps here. The first one is, are you ready? And it it's gonna prompt you for that system password. It comes back, it checks the log file. That's what I like about one of the things I like. You can't directly go by what it says. I mean, I still like, I've got 2 monitors, I've got this running in one, I've got just a terminal session running the other. And I just check my log files in that one. But at least I'm not having to type these commands or cut and paste each time. There's a second command, do the import. This one here, it actually got an error. It's trying to drop, the public center. So it stopped at that point and asked you, if you want to continue or quit. And I told it that was, I just told it to continue. I said that was an okay error. It looked fine to me. This is the one, this is the actual command that I put in here to disable those triggers. And then here's your go stage. It's basically the same as when you're running it. I just didn't have to type it in. And it ran through and I actually got an error. The error is that it was trying to drop an index. That index wasn't there. Okay, that's an okay error. So that looked okay. I actually looked at my list file, it seemed okay. If I backed up one screen, I could see where it got to that exit and this exit and ready to go to the next step. So that one run through okay. Now, and the same thing, it's going to ask me there, it saw that it got an error, it wants to know what to do. I told it to continue. There's another step that finished. I did a screenshot of each one of these, but they're kind of boring, so I actually cut a lot of them out this morning. I wasn't sure how long this would take, and now we'll finish in about 10 minutes. But this is your second go stage. You got to the end, and there was no errors in that, and it comes and says it's good. Now, as I walk through each one of these, it marks them. The star says it was good. E is where it got an error on that first go stage. It got an error, but that was okay. Each one of those 9 through 14 are rerunnable. You can actually run those again. Now, so if I try to go back and rerun step 1, I wish I had a screenshot of that, but if I try to rerun one that it's already run, it'll tell you this step has already been run.
Do y'all see that column?
Same thing, the second go stage, it was good, no errors, so we got a G. Now this is your param.mod.dat file. And actually what happens is it takes a parameter file, param.dat file, and when you start, it creates a version of it with this param mod. And you can see as it stepped through, step done. So that it's not going to let you run that one again. And each one of these gets modified as you step through. And so you can't actually run something twice unless it's one of these like the copying the files over or something. And at step 10, I've got a script that actually copies all my forms to the form server. It's just a SCP copy. It's nothing fancy. I guess that's all of my presentation. I don't know.
How did you start it? How did you start with
You do a Perl. I don't have that in there.
Well, I mean,
I may not have that in there. just the SCT upgrade, you just do a Pearl space SCT upgrade,
And that starts it.
and that starts it. And it's just really simple. I mean, when I did Banner 8, I created parameter files for all the mods and all the patches. Now, the onesies and twosies that are coming out now, I'm putting them in just like you normally do. But when I was running through that so many times, I didn't want to have to be cutting and pasting, worrying about what I'd done and what I hadn't done.
That's a step that most people aren't gonna be aware of right off the bat, is the fact that these come with the upgrades.
Right.
You're gonna have to go and create your own.
Yeah, for the patches and
Support.
mods, I actually created them. But yeah, for the upgrades, I mean, it's all there. I didn't see any reason not to use it once I found out about it. Like I said, you still gotta look at your upgrade guide, you still need to look at the logs, but I have to cut and paste, I mean, or type it in.
How does it handle, like, your Ghost Age log files or overriding normally if you don't manually copy? Does it copy?
It actually, no, it actually formats those too. I think it said, it actually puts the, a version on it. And,
Oh, yeah, I saw it coming back.
yeah, did I go too far?
Oh, there's one. That one.
So, yeah, right here, yeah. It has a version number and then the instance. And so when I was running through these, I mean, I was up in the hundreds of Ghost stations, you know. But I could go back and look at each one, yeah, I didn't have to copy it. I mean, that's nice too. Anybody else have any questions?
In your param.dat file, the exits, in the param.dat file.
Oh,
Can you
okay,
explain what this is?
yeah, if there's no log file, listen, this is your step, this is your, the step number, the command, and then invert the log file for it to check, because it's your list tab there. If there's no, log file provided, you just have XXXX. And then it comes up and it said on one of those, it said, there was no, yeah, no log file was specified in the frame file.
And the run at the end, so we can.
Now that run tells it that it's a run in automatic mode. If there's nothing there, it doesn't run.
So how do you make sure you get all the mods in the parameter file?
Well, they're provided with the upgrade. Now the mods, I actually had to go through, I would go through the readmes, and I built those myself.
Okay.
You know, I'm not sure how we're doing upgrades now. I put them into test, and I give them a week, depending, sometimes a little longer, but most of the time it's a week. I give them a week to test it, and then I put it in production. And if you're putting it in 4 or 5 instances, you know, I'd definitely do it this way. But on the Banner 8, I mean, it just really saved me a lot of time. I don't know, who's still not on Banner 8? Who better go?
So I have another question. Do you have to recompile all, just like in general, do you have to recompile all the files afterwards, or automatically does it for you?
What do you mean, regional?
I'm sorry, the form, I'm sorry.
Oh, the form, oh, now, when I did Banner 8, I waited till the end to do all my recompiles. All the COBOL, C, forms, I waited all to the very end to do it. I actually, if you looked at some of my actually Banner, the ones where I went through Banner 8, I cut a lot of, like, checking for invalid objects and do that. I cut a lot of those steps out.
Me too. one
There's
point
no
I had
sense running.
478 invalids.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no sense to check after every, when you're doing 100, whatever, 170 patches, mods, upgrades. On step 3, there's no real reason to check for invalids.
And you said you created your own script to add into this, the forms copy?
Yeah, it just does an SCP copy to the app server.
So you can supplement that.
I still have to go over and recompile them.
Yeah, but you could supplement that with your own scripts like that.
Right.
All right.
Any script you wanna, well, I said, from the, it knows 4 commands. It knows, SQL command, script, import, and export. So anything you wanna do, anything extra, you gotta put in a SQL or script.
So you set SQL command to SQL plus.
Right,
whatever that is,
right. And it's set that way from,
From default.
the default.
Script, is it, so it's like the bang host, is that what that means, or?
It's just SH.
Oh, I see.
Want to say how we do the share the upgrades directory?
Oh, okay, well, yeah, my upgrades, when we actually, our TV updater pulls those down, they're actually pulled down on the test server. And, I've actually got that NFS shared on our production, and it actually just runs them from that directory. So I've only got one copy out there, and then, I've got that, I didn't even think about that, I've got that NF shared, but it's, the way I did that, it doesn't actually, stop the boot if it doesn't find it. It's like a
Soft.
soft, is that what it's called, soft? Any other questions? I ran through it pretty quick.
Could have done ours together.
Yeah, we could have. Yours is a little longer.
Well, let me ask you this. Does anybody plan on looking at this